This is the Basketball Show with Shane the Hammer Heel. What they gonna say next?
Hello and welcome to the Basketball Show. I'm Shane Hill. We're in the News Corp studios and we're brought to you by TCL Mobile, 2K and Bet with Joel. He's hotter than a Queensland summer right now, so check him out. Huge week in basketball, so let's get straight into it. It's the starting five brought to you by TCL Mobile. Well, no JoJo, but I've got the best sideline commentator in the NBL. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Derek Rucker.
What's up, Hammer? What's going on today?
We've got heaps going on, mate. The first one on the list for the starting five, Ian Clark. Did you think he was going to be this good this quick?
I did not. And let me tell you, that has really elevated the Kings' playoff chances and championship contending chances, Shane. He fit in perfectly, and you could see some of the Golden State influence in the way he shot the ball and the way he gravitated toward the ball. Man, he was good. I really enjoyed him. And you worked that game. What did he look like in person?
Well, he looked great. I thought the Kings looked great, but you're only an hour behind in Queensland, but seems like it's taken a little bit of time for you to be able to catch on to the Kings, that they are legit. Let's get to Europe, and our man Dante Exum had more success. You got to think now he's shown that he's healthy, he's getting back to the NBA.
No doubt. Look, Dante had a great Olympic campaign. I think you and I both were surprised that he didn't get a good NBA contract. I know the one that he was offered by the Rockets was just laden with incentives, but now that he's playing well and he's strung together a bunch of months of good health, he's got to be a lock to be added onto somebody's playoff roster at a minimum, Shane, if not the rest of the season.
Not only will he get picked up for the season, once he proves himself, he'll get a bigger extended contract as well. Don't worry about that. We're not big into the All-Star weekend, but the king himself, LeBron James, was pretty high on Josh Giddey. Let's take a look.
He's really, really, really good. He has a great pace about the game, great vision. I've always loved pass first guards who can see plays happen before they happen. And, Josh is one of those kids who can definitely see the game a lot quicker than a lot of guys out on the floor. And he's shown, I think he got like 3 straight triple doubles. He's just been playing beautiful basketball.
Well, I'm not sure much more needs to be said from the king himself. If you get that type of compliment and that type of attention, you know that you have arrived. And Josh Giddey, his 3 straight triple-double, Shane, have really rocked the NBA.
Yeah, he's been impressive. James Worthy with big compliments as well. But funny with LeBron, he went with Westbrook, and he says that he loves pass-first point guards. Let's get on to point 4. Cat, he wins the 3-point comp. Oh, my goodness. What's up with these guards? You can't let a big man win the 3-point comp.
He's one of the best shooters in the NBA. What are you talking about?
He's
this
great.
Is the size thing. What are you talking about? Cat can shoot the ball. He's a 42% shooter from 3-point line this year, Shane. So that means he's one of the best shooters in the world, irrespective of his size.
Well, you know what it's going to do, though? It's going to cause problems when he gets back to Minnesota. He's going to say, I'm the best 3-point shooter in the world, and he's going to be allergic to paint. That's what's going to happen, but no doubt he can shoot the ball. Behind the scenes, at the All-Star weekend, we've got JoJo over there doing her best work. I wanted to see the party scenes. We don't get any of this, but let's check out her first clip.
Hey Hammer, Dee, Director Dave, Maddie, John in the studio, missing you all, although I've got to say I feel pretty lucky to be here in Cleveland for All-Star Weekend. So it's about to tip off tonight. We're ready to watch Josh Giddey and Dyson Daniels in the Rising Stars game, so really looking forward to that. Hopefully catch up with Daniel and the crew as well. Have had an awesome day today, to be honest. We went to the crossover, had a chat with Precious Achiuwa, plays for the Raptors, as you know. And also, you two will love this, I beat Gary Payton in a shootout. Seriously, not lying. I know I'm never going to do that again in my life, but I'm going to live on that for the next 15 minutes. So yes, I knew you two would love that. Just checking in. I'll keep you updated throughout the weekend anyway. Wish I was there, but I'll speak to you guys soon.
Got to love that, Joe, but so did I. Had 8 threes on him. But how good is Joe? She is so natural. She's a world-class presenter, no doubt about that.
Well, I mean, she lied by saying that she misses us. If she missed us so much, why won't she return my text messages? Why won't she reply, Hammer? That's what I want to know.
She is in her element. Let's take a look at the second one.
Hey team, that's a wrap for day 2 here at All-Star Weekend in Cleveland. It's been a massive day. Got to interview Dirk Nowitzki and James Worthy earlier today. They had some shout-outs for some Aussies, so I'll tell you about that when I get back. And then this evening, Josh Giddey and Patty Mills in action in the skills comp and the three-point competition. I know, Hammer, you don't watch this kind of thing, but the slam dunk contest left a little bit to be desired. But can't wait for tomorrow, the All-Star game, Team LeBron up against Team KD. I'll check in again, I'll keep you updated. But right now, it's been such a long day. My crew and I, we're going for a nightcap.
Oh, yes, you are. Oh, yes, you are.
Fantastic. And you can see she's got the big, thick sweater, as we call it in the United States, on, because it is very cold in Cleveland.
Yep. No, she's loving life over there, JoJo, and she's got a third one for us.
Hey gents, coming to you for the final time here in Cleveland. It is All-Star Sunday with Team LeBron and Team KD set to face off in the All-Star game this evening. It's been a busy day. We've just had Macy Gray doing rehearsals, singing Star Spangled Banner, which was pretty cool to get the behind the scenes there. The G League game was earlier today. Dyson Daniels had 18 and 12. Looked pretty good out there, especially defensively. So great to see him in action and then speak to him afterwards. He said he hasn't really had a chance to soak up the weekend just yet, but he will do over the next couple of days. His dad's in town as well. Just checking in again anyway. Hope you guys have a great show. I'm heading to New York next week, hopefully to see Patty in action, maybe Ben as well. You never know. But I'll keep in touch for sure, and I'll be back on the show next week. So have a good one.
This is a
I reckon she's going to luck out. I reckon she's going to see Big Ben and Patty playing for the Nets. What do you reckon?
Did she win the lotto? What's going on? She is going all over. I thought this was just a 10-day trip. I'm not sure how this all is transpiring. But look here. Yeah. One thing that we haven't touched on about the All-Star Weekend is the top 75 reunion. The 75 greatest players, as voted earlier this season, are all assembling in Cleveland. And look here, one of those guys, Mr. Irvin Magic Johnson. Shane, how dare you have the audacity to question that guy and go at him on Twitter? He is one of the greatest players of all time. Not only that, were it not for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, what they did in the late 70s, we wouldn't have this show. There may not even be an NBA. Do not ever do that again and go at the great Magic Johnson.
Nothing but respect for Larry Bird and Magic Johnson for everything they did as players, but he is the worst follow on Twitter. More fluff than anything for Magic Johnson. Check him out and let me know what you think. Let's move on. Well, it's about time that we had a superstar female hooper brought to you by 2K, and that's exactly what we've gone. We've gone to the top of the tree. Please welcome Sami Whitcomb.
Hey, Shane, thanks for having me.
Last day of quarantine, nice to be home. You got Nash in the background. We might hear a few noises.
Yeah, safe to say he will probably make his entrance at some stage. But yeah, back in Perth. Really happy to be back here, obviously after being away in Ballarat and then Serbia. And yeah, just waiting for the last kind of day to tick off, and then I'll be able to be outside.
Let's talk Opals. I'm sure you're a little bit jet lagged after your trip to Serbia, but it would have been nice to play with a full squad in some really meaningful games as well.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's what the group's really missed these last couple of years, obviously with COVID. So I think, getting to have the core of that senior group together, throwing in a couple new faces that will hopefully be steady members of the group moving forward as well. And then, yeah, like you said, getting legit competition in as well. So really, really just tough challenges for us to really see kind of where we're at, engage what we need to work on moving forward, I think was really, really important for us.
Yeah, it must have been disappointing missing out on the Opals. I know here at the basketball show we were a little shocked, but you stayed with it and well worth the wait.
Yeah, definitely. I think, those opportunities can come at any stage. You have to just stay ready. The group is over the years it's just been a really tough group to crack into because they've been so talented. So it feels like maybe now this is the opportunity for me to step in. And yeah, like you said, I've been anxiously waiting and hoping, and yeah, ready to kind of just step into whatever role is there for me. But yeah, really excited about this year and World Cup at home, obviously.
Well, it's funny how things happen, isn't it, in sport? Because all of a sudden you're playing for the Opals under Sandy Brondello, and now also playing in the WNBA at New York under Sandy as well.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It's crazy how things kind of come together. And I think probably really fortuitous for me in that now I do get an opportunity at both levels for both teams to play for her. Hopefully that brings a level of comfort and familiarity for me, at both levels and both groups. And I think that'll hopefully go a long way for me.
Talk to us about last WNBA season. It was almost like you've had some great seasons in the WNBA, but for me, this was like a breakout season, shifting and playing some at the point as well and just handling it so well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough decision to leave Seattle or not. I love that organization. I love the team. Obviously, had been a part of some success there. So I think that's always difficult to walk away from. But for me, I wanted to really challenge myself and just see what my ceiling was and see, how good I guess I could maybe be in the WNBA. And I think opportunity was just scarce in Seattle because of how good and experienced that group was. So stepping away was important for me, I think, to really just develop and grow and see what kind of opportunity I could get. And New York just was a really perfect fit for that. Like you said, I handled the ball a little bit more, played a little bit more in that sort of point guard role. But I think it was just a case of I got to be on court a little bit more. And I think the more you get to do that, the more confidence you get and all of that. So it was a really, really exciting and fun year. And I'm really excited to kind of grow on that and continue to develop with this group this year.
And I've seen you guys have added Dolson, I think, from Chicago.
Yeah.
What other moves has the club made and what's it look like moving forward?
I mean, we'll bring back that core in Benijah, Sabrina, Tosh, which is obviously huge. But I think we'll also bring back a couple of players who were injured previously, which will also, I think, really help with our depth and experience and talent. I think we might have a few internationals come over who haven't previously. But I'll say, that big kind of marquee signing for sure is Dolson. What she brings for us in terms of her experience, her skill set as well, her leadership, all those things that I think, not that we were lacking necessarily, but we just didn't have that depth, I think, in terms of that position. So it'll be really great, I think, to add her to this group and hopefully just continue to grow with that core unit.
Talk to us about the decision to come back to the WNBL. I know in one mind I was pretty disappointed to see you back, but the bigger picture of basketball in this country is so exciting. What was the ultimate reason? Because you were signed in Europe.
Yeah, I was signed in France originally, but then Kate, my wife, got a job teaching here, and Nash and her were both going to be in Perth still, and that just sort of changed the landscape of our decision. I didn't want to be away for WNBA and then obviously for overseas stuff. So it meant coming back, obviously with COVID as well, and kind of the new CBA moving forward. The WNBL is actually a really, really enticing league to be a part of because of the length of season, as well as it's still really competitive. So I'm not surprised that you see, players like Marina, Brittany Sykes, Tiffany Mitchell, Jackie Young, like really, really quality WNBA players deciding to kind of come over. I think we'll see more of that moving forward. And that's obviously a real draw for me as well, the fact that it is such a quality league. But then, yeah, I love Perth and it's home, and just being here with the family was really, really important.
Talk to us about that talent, because when you look at Mabry and Young, the number one pick in all of the WNBA, and she's played a few years now, and then you've got some really good Australian pieces as well. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
Is this the most talented team you've played on in Australia?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think the fact that I don't count as an import helps. So we were able to bring in, like you said, Jackie and Marina, who are just so tough. I mean, yeah, Jackie's the number one draft pick and she's incredible. But, Marina at I think pick 19 is bloody incredible. And I think obviously you see the excitement that she brings in terms of how she plays. I think people love seeing that. And then, yeah, like you said, the quality of Australian players that we have, that local product, I think makes this probably hands down the toughest team that I've been able to play with.
And it seems like your role, you've been around a long time, so you're a veteran, you're smart, that you've had to adjust as well, playing with someone that does take a lot of shots. It's probably good that you're not 23 or 24 when you're trying to get yours as well, because you're able just to settle in and make the team even stronger.
Yeah, that's it. And look, I mean, like you said, I'm not at a stage in my career where I feel like I need to prove myself too much in this league. So I really just want to help. I really want to help be as good as I can be and help this team be as good as we can be. And if that means facilitating a bit more and taking a back seat to the likes of basically everybody else on this team who's really, really good, I'm really happy to do that if it ultimately means that we win a championship.
Who's the team to beat?
Look, it's tough to say. I think right now the team to beat is probably, in my opinion, Melbourne, because if I can't choose us, obviously, because I just think they bring that core group back as well in, Kayla, Ezzy, Tess, and then LA's played there for a little bit, so she's familiar with that group. And you add in someone like Tiffany Mitchell, who's so good and so tough to defend. And that makes them a really, really dynamic group, I think.
Well, it's going to be a great WNBL playoff series, and you guys are going to be right up there. Fantastic to have you back in the WNBL. Congratulations on being captain of the Opals too, and good luck for what's going to be a historic World Cup campaign later on in the year.
Yeah, thank you so much for all of it. Super excited to see how this year goes.
Breaking all the big news in basketball with Matt Logue.
Well, he's just known as the big dog when you're reporting on anything basketball in this country. Matty Logue, that's you.
That's a big call, Shane, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Now, we love starting a movement here at the Basketball Show, and I've had people come up to me all week and at stadiums and around the place when we're talking about the NBL trade window. We want it. It's gaining momentum.
Really is, Shane. Even at Sydney Kings games at halftime in beer queues, I'm getting approached by fans saying, great idea by the Hammer on the show. It's got to happen. We love it. To the point, Shane, where I've reached out to NBL, the real big dog, Jeremy Loliga, and he said that he would love to invest in it. He thinks it's something that needs to become a bigger discussion, and it's something that the NBL will look at the end of the season. He thinks it's something that needs to be explored. And you're right, Shane, you've created a lot of interest, because I think you look at the NBA trade window, look at the media attention it got, look at I think it's a similar thing in the NBL would be just so good for basketball in this country. Also good for the teams involved as well.
Well, and the speculation just creates so much talk. And for teams and players, we think it's a real positive. We've also had an asterisk saying there's got to be some stipulations, so a few things to be able to jump through. What about Cooks from the Sydney Kings? Xavier, he has been on fire and creating some interest.
Yeah, he's been sensational, Shane. I was courtside. I got to see him up close and personal. The way that he played the other night against Perth, he was terrific. In the big moments, he was there. His length, his reach, his defense is terrific. But it's also, his consistency around his shot, which I think can get better. But there's some interest there, Shane, from NBA scouts. And one NBA scout actually said to me, Cooks is on track for at least a summer league gig at the end of the season. And I think he deserves that. And then from there, I think he's got the potential, Shane, to be an NBA player, particularly if he can develop a three-point shot.
Well, you only have to cast your mind back to Jayshawn Tate and what he's been able to do as well. A lot shorter than Cooks, but didn't have that three-point shot. But he's been playing some terrific basketball, and he's an established NBA player now. So I reckon Cooks is going to get opportunities. Don't worry about that. Now, what about the rumour? You've brought it to the table, Scotty Hobson. Is he coming back? And if so, who's he coming back for?
Yeah, well, he's playing in the G League with the Oklahoma City Thunder's G League team, and Melbourne United is my understanding. They've been linked to, they've got an import spot. If they can bring in Scotty Hobson, that'd be great. You've got some other NBL teams saying, Shane, well, geez, how does Scotty Hobson fit in with that team that they've already got? But as we know, Melbourne United, they find a way. The Adelaide 36ers are also there in the mix for an import. They'll announce one in the next couple of days. I think there's been some interest in Scotty Hobson, whether Scotty would go to Adelaide. My understanding is CJ is keen for him to go to Adelaide. And the other player, Shane, is Jerome Randall. He's in Ukraine. Who'd want to be there at the moment? And my understanding is he wants to come back to the NBL. And there's some,
Ukraine
and there's some
Australia.
Links. Well, yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer. And there are some links with Jerome Randall at the 36ers with their GM there, Jeff Van Groningen. So watch this space.
Well, talks about JVG. How much longer is he going to be there?
Well, that's the hot rumour going around, Shane. I spoke to Jeff this morning. He said, on the record, no comment. He said he wasn't at the 36ers game because he's been on leave. He'll be back, though. He's happy. But the drums, they're beating. Basketball, people are talking. So again, another one, Shane, watch this space with the 36ers, who, let's be honest, they've underperformed, and I'm not sure about that roster.
Yeah, well, I hope Hobson goes to Melbourne because that makes it very, very interesting come playoffs. We know what he did last year. Good stuff, mate. All right, time for crystal gazing. It's where we go around Australia and look at all the NBL games and tip the winners. Current leaderboard. Derek, you're one up ahead of Joe, Matt and I. And Dave, you're south of that. That's all that needs to be said. Cairns versus Brisbane. Derek, in game one, who you got?
Cairns, they had superior three-point shooting, hot three-point shooting the last time they played Brisbane. I can't see them repeating that effort. Brisbane will be angry. I think they'll ramp up their defense again. I say the Bullets in this game, I'm even going to give you a margin, 7.
7. Well, I'm going to go with Cairns. I think Cairns will win this home game. They're much better in far north Queensland, and they get a little bit of anger to them. Let's go to you, Matty. Illawarra host Adelaide, and haven't the Hawks been disappointing?
Well, yeah, Derek said the Bullets are mad. I think the Hawks will be madder. I think if they don't turn up for this one and win this one easily, then I'll be really disappointed. Yeah, I'm tipping the Hawks, and I don't know what Gorge does. There's big question marks there because we've said they're going to come good for a long time and they haven't. And as good as Tasmania have been, wow, yeah, no, the Hawks win this one. And as I said, if they don't, wow.
I think the Hawks too, but all-time consumption levels for red wine for one Brian Gorgian. Don't worry about that. D, Brisbane host Tasmania.
I'm really looking forward to this game. I'll be on the sideline, Shane. Don't text me during the game. I'm busy. I think Tassie are going to be a little bit too tough and organized. Brisbane will have been up in far north Queensland, have a little bit of time to prepare, but Tassie, I think they're going to keep it going and keep that run towards the playoffs intact. And, it's surprising to say this, but I think it's going to happen.
Well, that's good because we've got two different now. I think Brisbane win that one. Southeast Melbourne host Perth. This is a tough one, Matty.
Yeah, particularly with Perth coming off a loss. The Wildcats went down there a few weeks ago and got the job done. I'm expecting a lot more out of Vic Law. He went missing against the Kings. Had a chance, really. Perth should have won that game, and they couldn't get it done down the stretch. And I think they'll be too good for the Phoenix. I'm not sure, again, that the Phoenix can contain particularly Bryce Cotton.
You agree, D?
Yeah, Perth.
Yeah,
I'm picking Perth for the next 6 home games. Just let you know, Shane. Okay. Lock them in.
Adelaide host the red-hot Sydney Kings. And I say that to both you guys, Matty Logue as well. The red-hot Sydney Kings.
Hold on. You forgot that they lost in Tasmania. Why is everybody just overlooking that pathetic effort?
Talking about the red-hot Sydney Kings. Now, who you got? Come on. You wrote them off.
I'm going to go with the Sydney Kings. Adelaide don't look like they know who they are at the moment. I think CJ is trying his best down there. But I think the Kings just have too much talent. And now it looks like their confidence is up, Matty. So it will be them all the way in this game.
Matty, you got Cairns. Yeah. They've got another home game against Melbourne United.
Yeah, look, Cairns, I don't think they can get the job done here. Melbourne United, they're the benchmark. Dean Vickerman's doing a tremendous job down there, particularly defensively. And I think United will have a bit of a party here like they did against the Breakers, and they'll be way too good.
I agree with that. You say the benchmark. You think they're the title favourites?
Yep. I think they are. I think they have to be. I think the way they're playing, they're the form team of the competition. And I think what they're doing at both ends of the floor that's the key. That's the difference. And, yeah, as I said, Dean Vickerman, to me, so far, coach of the year.
You got a little bromance with Dino, haven't you? I like him too.
He does.
You got a little bit of extra love for Dean.
I can see it.
Yeah, okay. That's all good. We like that. And D, we'll finish with you. Tassie, we like Tassie, but they come up against Perth.
I'm going to go with the Wildcats. Tasmania, look, and I'm sure Scott Roth is going to be highly motivated to prove to that Perth organization that he was more than capable of leading that team. Although the change was rumored for a while, it actually didn't occur until after he had decided to sign with Tassie. Perth over Tassie by 9.
Okay. I'm with you, and we'll get ready to see the leaderboard next week because I think there's going to be a few little changes coming up. Well done, fellas. We'll speak then. Time for Points Made, brought to you by Bet with Joel and Dee. Don't worry about the NBA and the All-Star Weekend and all that. We're getting rid of that this week. It's the halfway mark of the NBL season, and I'm saying only 4 teams can win the championship. 4 teams are making the playoffs, and I know you agree, so we're going to break them down. And I want to talk to you about the Sydney Kings to start with, because right now they've got the most talented team in the comp. You wrote them off early. Now they've got Jalen Adams back healthy. He's the best point guard in the comp, best import combinations. Cooks, DJ Vasiljevic, they have the most talent.
You're right. And, you know, when I made my prediction, they didn't have all of these pieces. But boy, did I underestimate how good Jalen Adams is. He is a player, and he lifted them up just on his reappearance into the lineup. But now when they add Ian Clark, now, Shane, I think they have the best 4. They have the best 4 to go with in the NBL, and then they can work with that 5th spot from game to game. They have that versatility. They got Swakala Bullock. They got Dejan Vasiljevic. They have guys that can do things and add value to that roster. They're dangerous.
And with Clark getting more games, they're going to continue to get better, but they do have more games on the road. So that's one of their challenges. The Perth Wildcats. Now, they have done unbelievably well considering they've been on the road for this long, going home for a big home stretch. Now, we know they'll win the majority. The one thing they have to do, Fraser, you're gone. You're out. You're just not up to it. It's not the right fit. They need a big man. Bring in John Mooney, and then things change. Can you imagine the big fella, Mooney, with that sort of talent to go with Victor Law and also Bryce Cotton?
Oh, yeah, well, you could just mail it in if they were able to get John Mooney, but I'm sure John Mooney is playing somewhere. You may have some intel that I do not. But look here, the Perth Wildcats always have a couple of things going their way. First of all, playing out in WA, it's tough going out there traveling and trying to beat them, especially when they're strong like they are now. And secondly, Shane, there is an infrastructure of winning, and that is always going to get them over the hump in tight games. And now with going back home with 9 games in a row, did you say?
I think they've got 9. I'm not. Don't quote me on that, which you just did, but I don't know how many. They've got a big chunk of games, and they're
winning 7 of those.
Yeah,
clock 7 of those. Tick them off. 7.
Yep, bit of home cooking along the way as well. And then we go to Melbourne United. For me, they're the 3rd team. They're the best defensive team in the top 4. They've got stability, a history of winning as well. Great culture, but I'm not sure they've got enough at the offensive end to be able to get it done.
Wait a minute, you tricked this segment up. Oh, so you have me agreeing that Sydney's number 1 now? I don't have that.
No. I'm giving you my opinion now. It's time for your opinion, mate. They're the best defensive team. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to win it, but they'll always have a chance because of the culture and the leadership and all the rest of it, stability. But I'm just thinking they're just a little bit off when they're going to have to make big plays at the right time. Not sure they've got enough scorers. Could be wrong.
You know, the fact that my mind is so scrambled over which one of these teams is tougher than the other is a great sign, because it means, you know, the run home is going to be great. The playoffs are going to be really tough and competitive. I think Melbourne United, at worst, are the 2nd best team in the competition.
Behind?
At worst, Shane.
Behind?
Don't worry about behind.
Well, you've just said they're 2nd. Who are they behind then?
Perth.
Okay, so Sydney's 3. Now, for me, Southeast Melbourne are intriguing. They've got some great pieces, and they can get hot. They do it by committee a little bit. I like their point guard. Mitch Creek's a stud. Got a whole lot of role plays, but I question their defense. They're going to have to get better at the defensive end if they're going to win a series against those other 3 teams for me.
I worry about how much pressure they can withstand on the interior. Look, some of their guys don't defend that well on the perimeter, and there are a lot of rim attacks against Southeast Melbourne. We saw when they played Brisbane coming out of the COVID situation, but they're immensely talented and they can score. and they seem to have a mental toughness that surprises you. They were down, getting their butts kicked by Melbourne United the other day, and fought their way back into that game. And then after that disappointing loss, Shane, yes, I know they lost. After that disappointing loss, though, they came back and had a strong win against Brisbane. So
gave up 90-something points to Brisbane. 90-something points to Brisbane, who scored 69 the week before. But anyway, we digress. Quickly, the Illawarra Hawks, I can't believe we can write them off halfway through the year with Gorge at the helm, but they look terrible right now. And shout out to Tassie. How good have Tassie been? Seriously.
They have, Shane. They've looked really good, but they're organized. They're organized offensively. They don't take too many hits defensively. And they really humiliated Illawarra yesterday on Illawarra's home court, put up 96 on them. And the Hawks, Shane, I've said this all season, now that I've had a chance to look at the psychological playing profile of their players. Too many streaky guys. They need somebody in there with some stability. They need somebody in there that's going to run the show. And look here. Whoa, Sam McDaniel went off yesterday, too. He dropped 20 in the first half on the Hawks. And the thing is, he hadn't been playing for a minute. He had kind of been put to the bench, but they've got firepower from outside. Steindl can light it up. Adams has found his way. And a guy who I really didn't like, and I'm not sure you're convinced on his value either, Majette, he's starting to produce, man.
Yeah, I don't mind him. I think you're a bit down on him more than me. But anyway, that's points made. Well, that's all we've got time for. Massive show today. Big shout out to JoJo, her reporting from Las Vegas. She's been to LA, she's in Cleveland, she's going to New York. Not sure whether she wants to come back or she has to come back, but hopefully we see her soon. Big thanks to all our guests as well, and our supporters too, TCL Mobile, 2K and Bet with Joel. We'll see you next week.
This is a co-production by News Corp Australia and Closer Sport.